Alright, how we doing, ladies and gentlemen, over on the YouTube side of things? I am currently live on Twitch, sitting in queue. I got inactivity and have to re-queue, so it is going to be time for a Trinket tier list. We just did ourselves a little Sithral's Fall, and after that, I think I need to tell you guys something. So, let's go through the trinkets in Fellowship. I will need some of you guys in chat to list all of the trinkets for me because I can't see all of them. I got inactivity'd because I got up. So, we're going to go through a trinket tier list, and feel free to disagree with me in the comments because Method said differently. I appreciate the comment interaction. Thank you, brother. So, let's start off in the top here. We've got Remove, S+, S, and Reroute. So, we'll start off in Remove. This is going to be chicken. Actually, no. We're going to write cock, because it'll be funnier to have cock on the screen for 25 minutes. Didn't expect it to be this kind of video, did you? Okay. Reason being, this is broken as fuck. This is going to get removed eventually because it's a design linchpin. 100,000%. Because this thing turns specific mobs into a chicken, which is incredibly powerful. So, in Sithral's Ascent, for example, you can chicken the Corruptor, and you can chicken the Golems. Chickening the Golems, they don't turn into the little ice shardlings, you get insane value. So much so, each team only gets 4 limited chickens. Now, why is this in Remove tier? Because those things you chicken do not give you kill score. Now, that sounds balanced-ish, sort of. Not really, because what it's going to do, what this item does, is it makes it so that the better players and the top teams will be able to absolutely abuse it by chickening the right things. In higher tiers and higher keys, things that will just straight up team wipe you, you can just turn into a chicken. Absolutely fantastic. Busted across the board. However, if it gave kill score, it would be way too overpowered because you would just negate a shit ton of mechanics and skip a whole bunch of shit, right? There will be chicken here, chicken here, chicken here in all the paths, right? However, if you leave the doesn't count towards kill score option in, you're trolling your solo queue tank by picking the cock. Because what happens is the solo queue tank gets his route off of method.co.uk.edu.gov and follows his route blindly because he can't think for himself. You follow said route, you chicken big mob, you get to end boss, you're missing 20% of the key, he rages at you. Because you chickened the mobs that are of big priority, and you took 20% kill participation from his key. You see how this is a design linchpin. The top players will absolutely abuse it. People with coordinated teams who can say, we chicken this, we chicken this, we chicken this, will abuse it. Even with the kill score reduction, because there are certain mobs in Sithrals and higher tiers and whatnot that are probably just going to be absolute cancer. Whereas in solo queue, if you bring a chicken trinket, you control your solo queue tanks. So, that shit, it has to go at some point, and it'll just be a matter of time until they come to the same conclusion. So, S+ is going to be MD. The Master Spell Trinket is by far the best trinket in Contender. No question. Fucking busted. You run 4 MD trinkets, and Sithral's Fall is a cakewalk. Reason being is that the thing you need to Master Spell is the Ice Shardlings debuff. If you stack that up to 11 stacks, the whole team dies instantly. If you stack it up to 11 stacks and you MD it, no problem. So, literally, everyone running Sithral's Fall, doing a chain Sithral's Fall farm, should unironically have an MD. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do, routing-wise, that I'll kind of explain later. But I can't bring up the exact names for the items right now. I'm not in-game. I was going to do this with the item window open and whatnot. Any of you with the item window open, feel free to list the names of the trinkets, because I'm probably going to miss some at some point. But if you would, I would highly appreciate that. But yeah, so the Master Spell Trinket is going to be absolutely incredible. Bring this in Sithral's Fall every single time. Oh, you took a picture of them all? Hero. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. You're the fucking best. Except the, Oh, you were a fucking Chad. Alright. So, yeah, a Mass Dispel Trinket is absolutely incredible. I think those are different trinkets. Because the MD Trinket icon isn't in there. Weird. Okay, but yeah, bring that. Every single time. Bring 4 of them, bring 3 of them. Optimally, bring 3 of them, and then the 2 rerouting trinkets, but I'll get to those in a minute. So, other S+. Actually, no, I'm going to make you wait. I'm going to make you wait. We're going to cover the rerouting trinkets. This is going to be Portal. These are in a tier of their own. Portal. And Shroud. These are both beautiful and trolling simultaneously. Just like chicken. So, reason being, with Portal, you can do a bunch of skips. However, skips will change your tank routing. Now, this is going to be a massive problem as time slowly develops, and this is something I'm trying to drill into basically every single person's head. Fellowship is a game where routes will have to be adapted depending on the trinkets your team brings. You can't just blindly follow a method route if your team has Portals and Shroud. Right? Because if you can't blindly follow a method route if your team brings fucking chicken trinket, period. It won't work. Right? They don't factor for that. Well, they probably do, but still. I'm trying to make it as, like, you know, approachable as entirely possible here. So if you go in with a path and a plan, this is the roguelike aspect of Fellowship that people aren't talking about. If you go in with a path and a plan, and your team brings Portal, Shroud, and Chicken, that fucking path and a plan goes right out the window. Every single time, because you're going to lose kill percent, you're going to Portal to skip shit, so now certain packs you're not doing anymore. You can Shroud past packs, which you can then get to the boss faster, and then do certain skips with, and everything changes. There's a skip in Stormwatch where you can go right across the bridge with the portal to a campfire on the other side. Oh my god, it's so good. So good. It's part of the reason I love this game. It's the roguelike variety of every single key run. You can path every single path differently depending on the people you're playing with. And when I'm rotating people in and out of stream all the time, you don't know what trinkets people are bringing in. You don't know what people have dropped, what they've found, all that sort of stuff. It's fucking awesome. But these are trinkets that will cause you to entirely reroute your key. For the better sometimes, for the worse also sometimes in solo queue. Shroud allows you to skip a bunch of shit if you use it correctly. Portal also allows you to skip a bunch of shit if you use it correctly. There are spots where if you have a static pack, you can portal through the pack if you do it at the right spot. If you stand in just the right position, you can put the portal on the other side of the pack to literally skip across the bridge in Sithral's Fall. And then you can use the Shroud, for example, to go right through to Sithral and skip both of those packs on the bridge. Which, that pack at the start of the bridge is by far the worst pack in the entire dungeon with the Corruptor and 2 Golems. Is just, oh my god, it is such a pain. But you can just skip it with Shroud if you're lucky. There's also the spot where you can go up the like ledge and whatnot and drop the portal in Sithral's. So those are the sorts of things you can do with these trinkets. I would suggest bringing them if you're playing in a stack, in a coordinated team, or if you know some of the skips or want to get creative. These will lead to very, very, very fun options, and I want more of this and less of this. So, next in S+ is going to be B-Res. That's self-explanatory, isn't it? Literally pick someone up off the floor immediately in the middle of a fight. God tier, probably a force locked healer trinket most times. Actually, it's gonna be a battle for healer trinket, not gonna lie. That's the book icon. It's Grimoire of something or other. B-Res is B-Res. It's God tier. No matter what, being able to revive someone basically unfucks a key. Revive B-Res your healer, B-Res your tank, B-Res your DPS. Fix a problem. Profit. Alright, next is gonna be Q's at 6k. Oh fuck, good thing I'm doing this then. I'll say Mana Trinket and S. Now this is a divisive one, because this could go right here. Now this is gonna depend on what you want to run as a healer. For healing, you're running one of these 3, I think. Or you're running 2, pick 1, or you're running 2 and then pick 1 to switch out, I think. as a healer. You either run the mana trinket and an MD, or you run MD and B-res if you don't have mana issues. My Vigor always has mana issues, so like Vigor, I'd probably run MD and mana. Sylvie, I'd probably run MD and B-res. But I currently have mana, so if I drop either of them, I'm just going to throw that on there. This is like mandatory until we get gear, which is why it's not like here. If it was like, I don't know how required mana trinket is in higher tiers, but like these two are going to be godlike in higher tiers and will 100% help you as time goes on. Like I said, mana tier or mana trinket might be S plus, might be required, but I genuinely think it's going to be a toss up between picking one of these. So next in S plus is potion. 40% instant heal from the tank is absolutely fantastic. So this is amazing for multiple reasons. One, if you get it on Mako, you have Serenity, which is a basically full heal instant press, and you can combine that with your potion as well, so you have 2 instant top-offs. You get bursted, you then use your Serenity, so that your Serenity can start restacking, and then you get bursted again, you use your potion. By the time you use your potion, your Serenity is probably restacked to half. You get bursted again, you've probably restacked to full Serenity, use Serenity a 3rd time. You also have Mako's self-healing over top of that. Very, very, very difficult to end up dying as a result of that. With Helena, you can use your potion at 30% if you're having a very bad time. You can use your absorb and then put the potion behind it, so you get a big giga shield. Combine it with the Sathriel's arms, Sathriel's arms. I'll do a weapon tier list at some point too. Fuck it. You guys love tier lists, it seems like. So everyone can know what their opinion should be, I guess. Is that what people treat tier lists for? I don't know. I just work here. It's actually a Wendy's you've stumbled into by chance. So, the other thing about potion that's really, 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 really good is if Sylvie uses Spirit Link, you can pop your potion, it'll heal the entire team. Absolutely incredible. One of my tanks did that in solo queue. My guy was, or not in solo queue, in the stream rotation. Fucking Turbo Chad. I remember him for it. He made a fucking impression. So absolutely good shit across the board. Okay, the other ones, Shiny Rocks and Rune Pieces, are just stat trinkets. And then there's Ancient Wardstone. Oh, Ancient Wardstone is the MD trinket, isn't it? So Poultry is a chicken trinket. Shadows is the Shroud. Wardstone is MD trinket. Chalice is mana. Portal Stone is Portal. Salt Wash Elixir is potion. And then Sin Binding, Shiny Rocks, and Rune Relic Pieces are the white ones. So those are just like shitty white trinkets to fill out your slots. So then the last one we have is drums. And drums are in... I'd put drums at like the bottom here. Drums are kind of mid because everyone can mount on demand. Now, I might be wrong on this one, but drums are like fucking... If there was a tier below, like, I could make a fucking... Here, we'll extend it down a bit. Well, you know, it can get its own color. It's that fucking tragic. We'll put this in scrap. Drums are tragic. I love Stamp Roar, but I mean, you don't really want to pop this because any time that drums is useful, you've already used a mount, I think. Like I said, I could be wrong. I'm more than willing to be wrong on this. Feel free to tell me if you're using it differently. But like, if you pop Stamp Roar, one, nobody's expecting it to begin with, so you can have people accidentally butt pull because they move 2 inches to the side and get 50% move speed, so they step farther than they expected, pull the wrong shit, wipe the entire team, which is absolutely hilarious. There's no point to pop Stamp Roar after a pack kill to get to the next kill because you just mount up anyways. Everyone instinctually mounts if they want to do a big pull because you don't get knocked off your mount. If you get knocked off your mount while you're pulling mobs, drums goes up to like S or maybe even S plus for big pulls. But until you get knocked off your mount while pulling mobs, drums is kind of fucking garbo, I think. Like I said, I might be wrong, but maybe there's some places for it. Maybe it's useful for stuff like well, no, I was gonna say it could be useful for like Wormheart, but that might even troll Wormheart more. Like if you pop drums on Wormheart, all of a sudden you can't really control where the things go. You know what I mean? It actually gets worse, in my opinion, if you use drums to like avoid some of the intended mechanics. You could use drums maybe to like reroute the Shatter Strike or get to a soak faster. But keep in mind, it's giving your entire team the movement speed buff, so it's not just giving it to you. So then you're potentially trolling your teammates because, like I said, they aren't expecting drums unless they're playing with you. In which case, is in which case, if they're playing with you and you're playing with a stack, bring Portal, Shroud, MD, a B-Res, and a potion, right? So if I had to divide up where to put these, I would say healers get these three, tanks get these three, or tanks rotate between these three. DPS should bring one of these three. And then one of these. Wait, shit, I'll do different colors. Okay. So tank's yellow, DPS is red, healer's white. There and there. Y. Tank. Red. DPS. And then white. H. Okay. Any thoughts? Any thoughts from chat? Did I get anything wrong? Any other opinions? What are we thinking? I think this is the case. I think the tanks bring potion and B-Res or potion and MD. Oh, there's damage reduction. There's damage reduction. That's the other one. Sanctuary. Ooh, where does Sanctuary go? I think Sanctuary goes here. I don't think it's S plus worthy, but I think it's good. I could be wrong on that too. So, yeah, we'll say tanks bring any of them lot, I think. Yeah, I think Sanctuary is good, but you need to know where to use it and when to use it, because, like, you don't want a Sanctuary just for the tank. You want a Sanctuary on AoE, but if you're going to Sanctuary on AoE, you're probably Sanctuarying something that needs to be MD'd. So, if you're also Sanctuarying on AoE, you're probably Sanctuarying after a panic, which means that the damage you needed the Sanctuary has already happened, which is unfortunate. Being 15 seconds, it could be good for mass pulls. So then, like, it could link up with drums, where, like, we could wind up with a meta where fucking, like, Sanctuary and drums is, like, really good. Because if you get knocked off your mount, you mass pull, you DR the mass pull, you use drums to mass pull in the first place, and then maybe we wind up with a different meta if you're able to get knocked off your mount. Now, alternatively, in the current meta that we're playing with, I don't think that Sanctuary is worth bringing unless you put it on one person dedicated. I don't think it's worth stacking. Unless maybe there's something where, like, you giga pull the whole key and then you stack fucking Sanctuaries and just, like, chain back to back to back to back. Like, when we did the Mako Sylvie, for example, right? If we did not Mako Sylvie, when we did the two Sylvies in Mako, if we rotated fucking, like, sank while doing like 3/4 or a third of the dungeon each fucking pull, then maybe there's something to be said there, you know. But I love solo queue, do final dungeon, tank dies once, tank leaves, key rips. Yeah, that's about right. They need to add like what the fuck is it? Find in queue. So okay. Any other thoughts? B-Res on tank is great since during cooldowns they're almost invincible. I can get someone else up. Yeah, that's true. Being able to actually walk over to the guy to be able to B-Res is also something to think about as well. I think tank and healer should have one B-Res each. I mean, B-Res will probably be capped at some point. That's another thing. Like, B-Res will probably get the fucking chicken treatment and get capped to, like, one B-Res a key or something. Well, actually, you can't even do that. It's on a cooldown. It has to be like 4 B-Reses, like the fucking trinket, or like the chicken trinket or something. Also, that's kind of what I'm thinking so far. It's like, Sanctuary, I don't think you get enough value compared to Potion, B-Res, and MD. But if you're playing in a scenario where you're mass pulling, maybe Sanctuary actually goes like Giga fucking Ultra S tier. But if you're doing Sith rolls, bring an MD trinket. Most of the time, bring a B-Res trinket. DPS could actually use DPS could use a fucking Sank, actually. I'll split this off. If your DPS brings a Sanctuary trinket, it doesn't feel so fucking bad. If a DPS brings like a Sanctuary and one option, like a Port or a Shroud, then I think you're kind of chilling. Then, so yeah, okay. If I could have an optimal team, I would do it this way. I would do like Helena or Miko with Potion B-Res. So I'll do this. Helena or Miko with Potion B-Res. I would do Healer with MD and B-Res. I would do DPS with Sank and Portal. And then I would do a second DPS with Shroud and Phil, I think. Shroud and whatever the fuck else he gets. So, if you can also be the Chad DPS player who brings Portal Shroud and just like fuck your. Well, I say the Chad DPS player, but like you'd be the fastest to be kicked in solo queue if there was a group kick function. Because if you bring Portal Shroud and Chicken or any of that combination to your solo queue team, you're probably gonna be fucking hated by most solo queue tanks. Of which, fun fact, if you made it this far in the video, I'll give you a reason to re-roll. Only 2% of the population are tanks. So if you want to make it the Paragon, Q tank, gear Helena, and just no head, thoughts empty. Yeah, well, no thoughts, head empty, pull everything. Go from there. So yeah, I think that is the trinket tier list. Did I miss any trinkets, do we think? Or no? I think that's everything, right? I'm pretty sure that's everything. I've heard the tank should bring a B-Res since it might be more valuable for them, since otherwise if someone B-Res the tank, it'd be hard to reestablish aggro. Oh yeah, maybe. I mean, it's also a scenario where like if tank and DPS bring B-Res, healer can bring mana, right? But that's all in coordination, right? But I think it's like you get one of 3 trinkets. That's kind of the best way to look at this, yeah, is like, you know, 3 trinkets, 3 trinkets, 3 trinkets, for like 3 trinkets for each roll. So 3 trinkets, choose 2, I think, and then scrap your fucking drums until you get dismounted from taking damage on your mount. I think that War 1337 in queue, perfect time to end it. Feel free to argue with me in the comment section below. Appreciate you. I didn't end it in time. I suck. Whatever. Let me know your thoughts down below.